Do you ever feel like the world around you is spinning? Like you just want to hit a button and slow it all down? I know, friend, that that's true for me. The truth is that there are things that happen to us in this life that aren't in our control. But there are a lot of things also that we do or don't do that keep us stuck in a place of burnout or survival. I know that I've been there, and I'm certainly a work in progress. But I have to tell you that I do not accept the burnout culture of this modern world. I can recall multiple instances in the last 10 years where I just looked around at the condition of my life and I said, I do not accept this. And I do not believe that this is what humans were created for. Now, I am the tenacious sort, and so once I decide that I am done with something, I am on a mission, and the mission has been quite a ride. Very hot today, so I had to wait till evening to come out here and start transplanting some plants into the garden. So this year Vigo Garden sent me some raised metal beds, and I really love these. They're beautiful, they're sustainable, and they're gonna obviously last a lot longer than the wood ones that I had. That's what I'm up to right now. I have some herbs, some nasturtiums, some other plants that are started that need to go into the ground, and I adopted a new blackberry bush today. That was a really good price, so I'm going to add that to my list of plants that I am taking with me someday. This is not our forever home. We've been looking for about 5 years for a place. Love you. Having a good day? Having a good day? Have you been in the mud? We want more land, so we'll probably have a smaller house, but we would like some more land, and we would like something that is either with my parents or right near them, and it's all in God's perfect timing. But there's a few plants that I had nurtured from babies, like my echinacea plants, which now have mature roots, and I refuse to plant them in a permanent spot because I feel very attached to the process. And I want to take that with me. I also have 2 blueberry bushes that I have been tending to for about 5 years that I also plan on taking with me. So I just keep putting them in bigger and bigger pots every year. And now I have my adopted little raspberry bush. So here are some of the ways that I believe that we stay stuck in this mode. And the first one that comes to mind is undernourishing ourselves. Undereating is actually very stressful for our bodies, especially as women. And this is not necessarily about not eating enough food. Actually, probably more of what we see in today's world is eating food that is mostly empty. Having thunderstorms this morning, and it's very dark and rainy again. But I suppose it is watering the plants that I put in yesterday, so I can be very thankful for that. It also means it's very dark in here today. I've had some people ask me, why is it so dark in there? And part of the reason is that I don't like a lot of unnatural light. I've always been that way. It always overstimulates me. So we have a lot of dim lamps and candles and lanterns and things like that. But the other reason is that our home does not have enough windows. It's not a home very conducive to YouTubing. And when the leaves all grow in on the trees in the summer and in the spring, it gets even darker. The kitchen gets very dark. It's hard for me to film in there. I will say that it's been one of those things in life that has taught me that you can find an excuse for everything to not do something. You could just keep putting something off because the situation doesn't seem perfect or conducive to what we want to do. But sometimes we just have to start. We just have to jump in and work with what we have, learn to work with what we have. And I think that can apply to so many different things in life. There is something about a good thunderstorm though. Is it just me? I find them so soothing. Constantly hustling and multitasking. And this has been a fine line for me to ride because I'm working on building something and getting myself off the hamster wheel. And so I've had to be really intentional about my time. But really the biggest problem there is not ever being present with what's right before us. If we're constantly multitasking and hustling, it's very hard for us to be aware of and present with what's right before us. Over-consuming stimuli and media, and living in overconsumption of physical items. A cluttered environment filled with material things that we need to tend to can create a cluttered mind and a cluttered soul. So it's taken me years to work through coming out of survival mode, and there's still things that I am certainly and absolutely working through. But it's amazing what you realize about yourself and about life and about society and about others when you're on this journey, regulating your nervous system, coming out of survival mode, finding and living in your purpose, pursuing a slower, more intentional life filled with things that have eternal value. Your eyes are opened, and all of these realities come to the surface, and you look back on being so caught in survival mode, and you realize some of it was not your doing. There are things that happen to us in this life that are not our doing. They are sometimes things that happen to us because of the brokenness or the sins of another person or the brokenness of the world. Those are the things that I've really had to surrender into the very capable hands of God, to my Creator. But I also realized as I was journeying through taking up accountability in the process, is that a lot of the things I was making worse. I was perpetuating through the choices I was making, through the things I was meditating on in my mind, through the way I spoke, and through my actions, through the decisions that I made. Part of the jumpstart of coming out of survival mode was actually taking responsibility and accountability. It's very easy for us as humans to make justifications, and it's much easier to slide into victim mode than it is to take accountability and responsibility. And interestingly enough, one of the things that was really wreaking havoc with my cortisol and my nervous system was being cluttered. Mentally, I was cluttered. Certainly spiritually, I was cluttered. But I was also cluttered physically. I was gathering and gaining material things and all sorts of stuff I didn't need. I had so many clothes. Now, I was in the modeling industry for 12 years, so I was given clothes. I was always getting clothes for different things. I began to shift my wardrobe to a more feminine, modest wardrobe through conviction. And that was one of the kickstarts of me decluttering my life of many things. And so I cleaned out, gosh, it's so embarrassing, but probably 10, 15 big garbage bags of clothes. And it was hard at first, but at the end of it, it felt like such a deep exhale So removing clutter and going through the process of removing some of the material extras that I did not need in my life, that were not serving any sort of a purpose and were not good for my healing. That was probably one of the kickoffs in the whole journey of coming out of survival mode. If you enjoyed today's video, I would love to have you stick around and subscribe so that we can visit again and we can continue on these, what I think are important conversations. And friend, I just wanted to thank you so much as always for coming back to our little house in the mountain. I so appreciate you taking a piece of your precious day to be here and to watch the videos, to like them and take the time to comment. It's so helpful to our channel and it means a lot to me. I love you and I appreciate you, and Lord willing, I will see each and every one of you beautiful souls right here on the next one. Bye friends.